this is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and yay, it's a smartphone. It's been a while, right? They don't come out as frequently as they used to. This one's a pretty exciting one, though. This is the OnePlus 3T, which, as you might have heard, is the successor to the OnePlus 3, which was a pretty nice and relatively affordable high-end Android phone. This one gets even better. You get bigger battery in here. You get a really high-resolution front camera, a couple of other tweaks. We're going to look at it now. So here it is, the latest OnePlus device, the OnePlus 3T, kind of playing off the S's on the iPhone. I guess T is one better is the idea there. So OnePlus has come a long way. We had the OnePlus 1, we had the OnePlus 2, the OnePlus 3, the OnePlus X, and now the 3T, just 6 months after the OnePlus 3. Looks just about identical. I mean, the casing is identical. The color is the thing that's different. This is the new gunmetal color, and there's also a soft gold color. But what's nice is that they've moved to complete aluminum unibody construction over the years. Really thin design, attractive AMOLED display, which we saw on the OnePlus 3 as well, so no more, kind of murky IPS displays there. It's just a really nice looking phone. The curved Gorilla Glass bevel here on the front face, it's very, very pleasing. And it's $439, no contract, no payments, no nothing like that. That's all it costs. So that's a considerable savings over some of the other Android flagships on the market, like the HTC 10, the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. You get the idea. Even the LG V20, which is, a pretty expensive flagship phone that recently came out as well. What do you get for your money? You get almost everything is the same as the OnePlus 3 that came out 6 months ago. They just tweak things because, well, they can, and they want to stay competitive because this is the company that started the whole unlocked, affordable, but kind of chic, nice, sort of high-endish phone for not too much money. Now they've become the high end of the affordable unlocked phones. And, well, they got to tweak things more frequently to keep you interested, let's put it that way. What you have here is a 5.5-inch 1920 by 1080 full HD AMOLED display. Now, before you say, oh, it's not QHD, well, you know what? That allows for better battery life and better performance, and you got 401 ppi pixel density here. So that's as sharp as sharp. I don't feel a need to have a QHD display. I think that's more of a marketing war phenomenon often enough. AMOLED gets you those nice bright colors. It's an attractive enough display. Snapdragon 821 in here, so that moves up from the 820 and the regular OnePlus 3. The performance difference is pretty small. That's a minor iteration from Qualcomm, and it still has the same Adreno 530 graphics, and it's clocked at 2.35 gigahertz. So compared to the Google Pixel XL that's a little underclocked, well, not surprisingly, this one's faster. You've got 6 gigs of RAM in here, and your choice now of 128 gigs of storage or 64 gigs of storage. We have the 128 gig model, and that's a good thing because there is no micro SD card slot anywhere. You're just dealing with built-in storage. So people who have greater storage needs, they want a big music library or videos, you can do that now. Branding hasn't changed from the OnePlus 3, so there's no little T here or anything like that. And that's where your SIM cards go, nano SIM card, and this holds 2 SIM cards. So those of you who need to have 2 SIM cards, more popular outside of the US than in the US, you can do that. Now that $439 is for the 64 gig model. It's going to be $479 if you want it with 128 gigs, and that's available in gunmetal. Right now, those are pretty well sold out, though, so it's a long waiting time to get that. Speaker holes over here, your USB-C style connector. It's USB 2.0 for the protocol, and a headphone jack. Yay, headphone jack. You just have to be happy when you see one of those these days. The phone supports dash charging, which is OnePlus's version of fast charging. It's not the same thing as Qualcomm Quick Charge. If you use a Qualcomm Quick Charger or just a regular USB charger on this with the USB-C cable, obviously, it will charge. It's just not going to do it super duper fast. So the idea with that dash fast charging is it has most of the electronics required for the charging in the charger itself. Let's take a look at that. So here are our pretty little OnePlus 3T box over here in their usual vivacious colors, and there's the dash charger, which is a pretty big charger actually compared to most right there. And then there's their cable. They say you need to use their cable and their charger if you want fast charging, and it can charge 50% of the battery in just a half an hour, and in our tests that is true. And that's a big battery in there, folks. They've increased battery capacity to 3,400 milliamps, so it's an Energizer Bunny. They claim all day use or a day and a half, and they are not lying. This thing does have good gas mileage, so to speak. Now, there are no earbuds in the box, but OnePlus sells a kind of fancy set of bullet head earphones for 20 bucks. So you can accessorize with them. Now, they have all sorts of things for sale. These actually are not bad little earbuds, honestly. And well, for 20 bucks, they should be. If you want to jazz up the back, they have a variety of snap-on cases. They protect the back from scratches. They don't add much weight. It's not ultra protection. It's more cosmetic, but, you know, it's a pretty robust aluminum unibody foam. In fact, they're really going crazy. They even do things like sell, here we go, canvas messenger / beach bag. Nice honking connectors here. Yes, as you can guess, they sent us just about one of everything that they make to go with the phone. So there you have it. Despite the less than our usual US $650-ish price for a flagship phone, you get all the bells and whistles. You got NFC for Google Pay in here, the usual Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, voice over LTE. And LTE 4G works on AT&T, works on T-Mobile, and their smaller offshoot carriers. This is not for Verizon. This is not for Sprint. Those are CDMA carriers, different kind of network technology, not built into this phone. We even have a fingerprint scanner, and my favorite place, which is the front here. And we can do press and hold activation stuff right there. And one thing about this, it works pretty well, but I notice when it's on the table, it has more trouble. If it's laying actually physically on the table, I have to pick it up. I don't know why that is, but otherwise it works pretty well. You really can't see them barely lit up there, but we have capacitive buttons. Now, the thing about OnePlus and their OxygenOS customization is you can do all sorts of things with this phone, which is really nice. You have the tasteful near stock look of Android 6.01 Marshmallow, by the way. Nougat's supposed to be coming by the end of December 2016. But you've got all sorts of stuff here. Buttons. You can have on-screen navigation buttons if you prefer those. You can have capacitive. You can have them both if you want. You can swap the button functionality back and forth. You can control what a long press or a double press of the button on the center does. All nice stuff right there. And then we've got gestures, all sorts of gestures. Draw an O to open the camera, toggling your flashlight, flip to mute, 3-finger screenshot, double tap to wake, and also if you run your hand over the screen without actually having to wake it up, you can see information if you want to have that. There's just all sorts of nice little customizations. We've got Swift key on here and the regular stock Google keyboard. That's the sweet stuff about it. But the nice thing is, because they don't beat up on the UI too much and overdo it, it's a very fast, very responsive phone. The only thing some people have complained about is touch latency, how quickly it follows your finger. And they've said that they want to finish Android Nougat first before they address it. I really haven't been bothered by it, but if you're playing a touch game, perhaps you'll notice that it doesn't quite have the speed of finger response there. The display itself is gorgeous. This is wonderful for playing games, and it's fast enough to play any of the games on the market. We're going to show you the benchmarks right now so you can see for yourself. This is just one of the fastest phones in Android land that you can buy right now. The camera on the front is now 16 megapixels, f2.0 lens. It's a 1 micron pixel sensor, so it's not the supersized sensor sites that we've seen previously, but it still actually does pretty good in low light. And you have the same 16 megapixel rear camera on from the last generation, now Sapphire lens crystal here, also f2.0. Has phase detection autofocus, which can be very good, but you know, sometimes you really need contrast detection. It's well lit here, so it's going to focus very quickly, but believe me, it hunts, and you'll notice that even when you're shooting video sometimes, that it hunts. You can shoot 1080p video with the front camera, 4K with the rear camera with electronic stabilization, that's software stabilization, versus hardware, OIS. So the camera isn't quite up there with the very best flagships, and focusing can be kind of slow at times. I'm not a big fan of the almost stock kind of UI that they're using here, almost Google-like, because it's pretty low frills, but you can go to manual mode if you want to get more control over your settings when you're shooting. And obviously you got your panorama, you got your slow motion, regular photo, regular video, that sort of thing. It's a decent camera. It's not stunning. It can blow out highlights sometimes. Again, you don't have the OIS when you're shooting video, so you'll see a little bit more of, oh, my camera is shaking, you know, that kind of thing when you're recording video. But it's not bad either, obviously. It's just not among the very best. And hey, if having the very best camera is not that important to you, you know, you can save yourself $200, $250 by buying this phone instead. Here's an example of the front-facing camera in low light. I mean, this is a dark room on a dark day, and well, that's about the best-looking selfie I've ever taken of myself, honestly. So how about the competition? We'll do a quick look here, and if you want to see some smackdowns, you just let me know in the comments. This is the Google Pixel XL, also available on lock, so an obvious competitor, considerably more expensive. Since Google has gone high-priced, high-end here, I sort of feel like the OnePlus 3T is picking up the slack for what Nexus devices used to be, which was a pretty nice, pretty high-end flagshipy device for a more affordable price than most. So, also, I love my Pixel, honestly, but still, I have to say this is slimmer and easier to hold, the OnePlus 3T. They really did a good job at the industrial design here. The Pixel is just a little bit chunky in comparison and a little bit more awkward to hold. The footprint's not so different on them, though. And then there's the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, which has a better camera, hands down, for the rear camera. The front camera, not so much, because we got 16 megapixels up here and pretty good quality images going on. Obviously, the Edge thing is going for this. Style-wise, I find it a little easy to accidentally activate things by pressing on the edge, but this one is actually a little bit more compact. And of course, this is Samsung TouchWiz. If you're used to that and you like it, there are a lot of features that it adds. But if you don't like all that kind of software overlay, well, this might not be your phone either. Then there's the LG V20, which is one of the more affordable flagship phones on the market. Obviously, it's big. It's never been a small phone, the V series from LG. You can see this fits just inside the screen area. But you do get a better camera here. However, you get a more vivid AMOLED display on the 3T, and one that's a little bit easier to view outdoors, too. And I would say it's the more styling-looking phone. The LG is just kind of all business. That's about it. Not a lot of imagination to the design there. But there's other good features too, like a removable battery for the LG, so not easy to decide. So that's the OnePlus 3T for you T-Mobile and AT&T customers and all the small networks that ride on their network. And of course, international folks on GSM networks, this is a really nice phone for the price. Now here in the US, most people don't buy phones that aren't offered by their carriers. And hopefully, OnePlus was one of the companies that started to change that. That'll continue to change because for significantly less money than a lot of flagships, you get the flagship display level here, you get very fast performance, you get pretty good cameras. Not as good as the best cameras, though. That's a little bit of a sore point. But the front camera is much better than average. NFC, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, LTE, 4G, voice over LTE, it's all here for $439. And the improvements that OnePlus made after 6 months are really well appreciated. I mean, the CPU jump, not that exciting, but more battery? Well, definitely. I think we all want more battery. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to visit our website for the full written review. Thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos.